Ita,
Ah, there.
how are you?
Yeah, you make me miss that coffee.
Yeah.
Let me show you what I'm eating. But
What are you eating?
I see uh, you, I see you're drinking nice coffee there.
Yeah, I said, what are you eating?
This is what I'm eating.
What's that?
Yeah, they call it, it's linguine. I'm not sure if fat cake explains it.
Oh, okay. Is it like a fat cook? A smaller version?
A smaller version. This is a very round version. It's a bolaki.
A boliki. Cool.
Hmm.
Mm. All right,
Yeah.
so I've started streaming. We haven't checked in.
Hmm.
Um, I got a call from you this morning, so you've been missing. We're starting the dialogue circles next week with Helena,
Yeah.
um, and we're going to be dialoguing
Hmm.
as a skill. And yeah, we want to talk about Thousand Circles and what's going on. And you want to start with a check in?
Yeah. Okay, let's check in. I'm checking in. Yeah, I'm checking in with maybe some anxiety around. I think I said this to you around who I am or who I am and have become versus who I should be uh, to to succeed in the business world.
All right.
Obviously, this is underpinned by ethics, being honest, uh, authentic, and open. And open, yeah. Uh, yeah. So I think that's what I'm checking. I'm checking in with anxiety around that, and also fear that it looks to me that for most people that are successful in business, there's always that element of doing something that is not necessarily ethical, in for one to succeed. I mean, even hearing it from many guys, and I think it's a concern for me because when when I go around people that do things a certain way, and I do in my way, you obviously will get pushed out. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm just conflicted.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'm checking with Joy. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Mhm.
It's the 18th of November. It's been a hell of a year. And it's really hot here in Johannesburg today.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad you called me this morning.
Uh-huh.
And I think what we're going to talk about is a very relevant topic, which I'm pleased about. Just to let you know, I'm streaming to the MKP Men Facebook page, which is
Okay.
that page just for men that have done the weekend. I'm streaming to your Thousand Circles Facebook page,
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
I'm streaming to the UACT Trust channel, which is the public benefit organization that I work with, yeah, or work
Mm.
for, or founded, yeah, which is the Section 18A Trust, which has some serious corporate governance in it. And that corporate governance often cripples us, yeah,
Mm.
trying to be compliant is a hell of a lot of work. Yeah. And then the other end of the scale is to get anything done, you need to be incredibly entrepreneurial and duck and dive and make a plan. Yeah. So when you spoke this morning, can I talk about what you spoke about?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So the context is you're trying to drive your mission, yeah, which is 1000 Circle, and then you have an events company, and you have to kind of do things there that really goes against your values. Yeah, in terms of working with people that are basically racist, blatantly racist.
Yeah, in some situations, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then to kind of not call it or walk away from it puts your business at risk and your yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, I think it happens a lot especially in the Free State, where, yeah, it's like, it's sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm talking nonsense. Maybe it's like that everywhere, in South Africa, because I have experienced that in Joburg. But I feel like here it's almost like it's normalized. It's like it's normalized that one race is known to be superior than the other one, and until the other one maybe retaliates, and you get this unnecessary conflict that happens. And yeah, and racism is also, yeah, it's like, I will hear people say things like, that's how they are, you know.
So what I
And
want to talk about is the feeling that so for me that stuff really triggers me, when people are blatantly racist. Yeah. And what's terrible for me is when I keep quiet about it and I don't speak up, because I'm worried about the impact it's going to have on my business or whatever it is that I want to do. Yeah. So I become compliant with something driven by a fear, and I betray my own value. Yeah. And then I'm filled with a sense of yuck inside me. It feels like I've sold myself out. It reminds me of when what I used to have to do to feed my addiction many years ago. That like, oh, it's a form of prostitution which I'm just not prepared to do anymore. But so I really know that feeling. I know that kind of tension.
yeah, where now when you do something and I feel like, that you're selling your soul almost. That I can't. If I object, you stand a chance of losing a business deal. If you object, you kind of and obviously the impact is huge in this case. We have 1000 Circles that needs me to work on resources to sustain this body, which is my mission, or my purpose. And I feel like it's highly connected to my mission. But it won't drive itself without a stable financial muscle. And the truth is, what is the problem for me is that being smart in situations like that and looking at the situation and say, I'm not gonna react. I'm just gonna put a shield when someone says things like that.
You react.
Sorry?
That's how you do react.
Yeah, that is that kind of reaction.
The reaction is, let me put up a shield, let me keep quiet.
Yes, yeah? Yes, indeed.
Okay. So that's a reaction. That's not necessarily the right response.
Indeed, indeed. Are you there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's not necessarily a right response. It's just a response. It's a reaction. But and it's very sad because it makes me harbor these feelings, these feelings of anger,
Yeah. Okay. Swallow the anger. You put
Yes,
up a shield, you swallow the anger, and then it becomes a resentment. So
yes,
you'll go home in the evening and you'll think about the situation and you resend the anger to yourself. Yeah. And then at night you get pissed off about the way that you behave during the day, and that anger spills out in your home or wherever you are, and it starts to fester.
yes. It's like
Oh, okay.
and-
So John, there we go. All right. Yeah.
and you
First of
see
all, I
the
just want to acknowledge our conversation that we're having. Yeah, I just want to
yeah,
acknowledge, that we're having this conversation. That it's a fuck up. That I can relate, and to not being able to speak up when I'm pissed off about something, not having my kind of need met or my voice heard, swallowing that, and then that anger comes out sideways later on.
yes, it goes into shadow,
Yeah, cool, good. All right, we got that.
Yeah,
Okay. All
it
right.
goes into shadow because I'm not displaying my truth,
Okay.
and I think having done this work, I'm aware when these things happen, and
So
some people, sorry,
what is your truth?
my truth is that I can't stand for shit like that.
Oh,
I
good.
can't stand.
Say that again. That was so nice. I can't stand for shit like that. Say it.
I can't. But
Okay.
because I know that it's a
Oh,
question of
I feel the relief. Oh, that feels so nice when you say that. I can't stand for shit like that. It just
no,
makes me want to support you more.
yeah, man, I can't. But you know what is the sad part, David? It's like I sit there. I sat there. This person behaves in that fashion, going on, and blatantly telling me that they're racist, and that I sat there and I'm thinking to myself, this is nonsense, you know. But in most situations,
So
when
can you give some context to the story? Yeah, just so people understand a whole one viewer. So the context, can I give the context?
I don't know if I don't. I didn't want to disclose that fully,
Okay. All
because
right.
yeah,
So let me make it about me then. Yeah. Let me
yeah,
so it's as if I'm reliant on somebody to provide me with a training space. Yeah.
yeah,
And I haven't got the money to hire out the training space, and they then find out that I'm working with a whole lot of people that are coming from Soweto, and then they say, "Oh, you can't have the training space because, yeah, okay,
exactly. Hmm.
okay," and then I'm caught with that, like, "Oh fuck."
Now, and here's another one.
Okay.
Some of your white friends are telling you, uh, they don't want to work with you because you are surrounding yourself with too many black people.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay.
And then you're almost in a corner, you know.
But have you got it the other way around? You you don't have some of your black friends don't want to work with you because you surround yourself with too many whites.
Yes, that can also be. Uh, the flip side, you know.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And
Oh.
you know, so and it is so sad because sure, it's painful. I must tell you that I felt the hurt yesterday. I felt,
Oh, mate. I'm sorry.
but you know, I just stomached it, you know, and thought to myself, maybe I need to come up with another approach, you know, because truth is, David, you know, the level of exposure that I have and the level of education I have means that I'm exposed to a different class of people. Class being uh, uh, maybe middle class. Uh, Amongst that middle class groups, you find that there are also a lot of white people, and I get exposed to a lot of stuff which I really want. Uh, I don't like calling people my people, but you know, my black people to also see, you know, and in that process, I could be accepted in certain circles, but when I bring my people, it's like no, we can't, and that is very sad, my brother. You know, even in MKP, what I'm doing now with Thousand Circles, I want to bring this work in our communities, you know. And funny enough, even MKP has had those kind of tendencies where the organization had this silent uh, fence of exclusivity, you know, and that the work serves a particular group in the in a particular a group or race in South Africa for a long time, you know, or maybe some few elite black guys that will come there, and you know, but really, I mean, you come to my community or you go to the Free State, no one knows about the organization and its work. Um, I think for me, there's a correlation between what I'm experiencing now and what I'm probably experiencing in MKP, and which is a very sad reality. You know, it might not be articulated in in the sense in our organization in MKP, but uh, I see signs of that. You know, yeah, and yeah, it's very sad. So what I've decided now, because of this, I've decided to
Okay,
develop
so
a system within our community.
hang on. Can I just respond to that? Because
Please,
now that you've started talking about MKP, you've hooked me into it. Yeah,
yeah,
you've hooked me into it, and yeah, and I just want to express my frustration.
yeah, please, please,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Well, I just want to put it out there, my frustration, because I think that I would align with you on that. I would agree with you on that. It like triggers up my activist and wants to go, yeah, fuck, you're right, let's go. Whoa, that's so that hooks me, yeah.
Mm,
And in my role in the organization, yeah,
mm,
I really want to try and find ways to expand the work more. And I often feel my hands are tied when I come up with a solution. It's like, oh no, 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 or no, 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 and and yeah, and then I get resentful, or I get angry in the moment, and I don't say anything, or it comes out sideways, or I get confused, or I just yeah. And I just want to bust that just so I can kind of clear myself and get back to kind of listening to you.
yeah. So yeah, you see, even you explaining this, it sounds like it's so identical to what this guy was saying, because where do you get the backlash from? It's the people that surround you, you know, who doesn't give you support if you want to transform. Uh, and you find that these people are people that you live with as a white person. And I remember I had some white friends that used to be called kafir putis. That's what they used to call them. When they are friends with blacks, they call them kafir putis. Like, and it is so sad, even saying that word. I mean, David, I went to schools where I was exposed to this shit. From high school. I hate, like now even I'm regressing. It's very sad. I mean, I went to school where these guys were all over me, for funny, stupid reasons, and I experienced that my entire high school life, and I went to Rao. Experienced the same thing. Rand Afrikaans University. Yeah, I'm in business now, especially when you're working with the private sector. I'm also experiencing it.
Bongile?
Yes, sir.
How much sadness are you feeling right now?
It's a lot, man. It's like it's
yeah, okay. Fuck, because I just want to cry, and this is your story and your experience, and I just want to kind of just acknowledge the sadness and the grief and the anger and the fuck up.
Yeah, it's completely lopsided. It's disgusting, complete disgust. After so many years in South Africa, you still see people behaving in this fashion. I mean, I went to high school in '94, right? Started '94, somewhere there. Nothing much has changed, and I mean, the idea behind Thousand Circles is about nation building. How do you build a nation where people are so divided?
What are you feeling now?
It's sadness, and it's also fear. It's also fear that
what might happen.
This country will fall apart, bro.
Okay.
This country, because I'm also spending a lot of time with people here in my community who are black, can feel the frustration, in the air. I mean, I also felt it over the weekend in this event, yeah, it's. I mean, I did this event for kids, because I know that kids in our communities, I mean, we don't have nice venues, we don't have entertainment. Like, I mean, if you go to, so for kids, there's not enough entertainment in the townships, it's not there. And yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
so I also have that fear. And I get so frustrated at times because my fear tells me we got to do something. There's a fucking alarm going off, and I have to do something. And whenever I try and do something, it feels like, oh, my hands are tied, my hands are tied, my hands are tied. And
but I also want to ask you, David, when you say your hands are tied, how does that look like, and how? Yeah, paint a picture for me. Like, you are in MKP, Your hands are tight. What are these? Tell me the ropes that are tying these hands. Yes.
So so first of all, like the way that I look at it, yeah, is you have a mission statement, a mission and a vision, and an organization has this is what we stand for and this is what we work for. Yeah, we've got a similar thing in South Africa. Yeah, this is a rainbow nation, blah blah blah. Yeah, and um, and so in my role, yeah, I feel that I should be working to fulfill that vision and mission, the collective of what we do. Yeah. And to do that, we need men to get skilled up and to work and to go and make a difference and we do that by putting on weekends and then having I groups, and then men go off and do missions of service. And that worked for the past through the 90s. Yeah. But now we're in but now we're in 2020. Yeah. And there's a different world out there. Yeah. We've got a whole lot of new resources, technology, a whole lot of way of doing things in a way that's more efficient, and ways of kind of educating and teaching and empowering this work. Yeah. So from a personal perspective, my mission is I empower others by empowering personal responsibility. Yeah. And there's no point in me saying, I empower you, you're empowered to go and do the work, but you haven't got the resources to survive, to do your job. It's like giving someone a computer and saying, okay, you've been empowered, you've got a job title and a computer, but you haven't been trained on how to use it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck, as you're talking to me, I can feel myself getting triggered because it's it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And then I get tired and I think, what's the fucking point? And then I look at my kids and I think, fuck, we have to do this. And then I get frustrated that that other people aren't saying, yes, we'll support you. Support for me at the moment is yes, no, but. Yeah. Yes, no, but.
Tell me, do you think, I'm putting you on the spot here, and I don't know if it's fair, but you'll decide if you want to answer that or not. Do you think there's racism in MKP?
Of course. That's why we do this work. I mean, it's a lot of it is. I mean, when I came into the project, I wasn't aware of my own racism. My racism showed up as a kind of a do-good whitey. Whenever a black person would walk into the room, I would overcompensate. Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm not racist. I'm not. Yeah, but I would still see color. Yeah, and I really had to work on my kind of rescuer in actually how that was perpetrating. Yeah, so I would hold white men accountable in a different way that I would black men. Yeah, and the other side of me was to protect. I'm going to just say this, like white man's way of doing things as being the right way. This is the way that we do it. This is and I've had to kind of unlearn that stuff, and I've and I think there's a lot of, it's taken me a while to be kind of conscious around it. But if someone tells me I need to go do my work, I'm going to say, fuck you, I've done my work. This is me showing up now. Yeah.
So now, what do you think is the impact of its existence within the organization? You know, in terms of in line with the mission of the organization itself.
Well, I mean, it's as an organization, I think we just this kind of organizational pressure for transformation. There's a lot of resistance to transformation. The world surrounding South Africa, the business world, doesn't want to doesn't understand transformation, or is grappling with it. I mean, we just look at the states between kind of, you know,
specifically to
between the left and the right.
I mean, specifically to MKP, what do you think drives these? I mean, what is the feeling behind it? Is it fear, perhaps, and maybe? What do you think drives this fear? If it's fear, according, if you agree with me that it's fear.
So I don't know yet. It's just let me just unpack it and think about this. I don't think people like change. I think change is difficult. I think people get set in the ways. This is the way we've always done it. Yeah. Well, this is the way that I did it. This is the way that it should be done because I did it this way.
Let me challenge you on this.
Okay.
Change, right? I'm driving a Ford Fiesta. Change tomorrow. I'm driving a Ford Mustang, right? Will I embrace that change, or do you think I'll be happy that I will be happy to be driving a Ford Mustang, upgrading to to a Mustang? The inverse would be driving a Ford Fiesta and moving to a bicycle, maybe to walking for that matter. Let's go to a bicycle because it also has wheels. Do you feel like the latter is what is happening for people that resist change in these organizations? Or there's an understanding that, yeah, which is which? Yeah.
Do you want my personal experience?
Yes.
Huh? All right. So I arrived in Joburg with 130, after losing everything. And I started washing dishes at a restaurant. And I got some folding money, as my pay, and I put it in my pocket. And I feel good. I can buy my own pack of cigarettes. And I saw this BMW convertible drive past. Yeah. And then I thought, shit, once I got one of those, then I know I've made it. Yeah. And then I worked and and I built myself up. And then I got an Audi Cabriolet. Yeah. And then I bought this thing and I started driving this thing. And then I wouldn't drive with the roof down because whenever the roof was down, everyone at the robots would come running to me. Yeah. And, projecting onto me that I was kind of successful and rich. Yeah. Whenever I took the car in for a service, it cost me a fortune. And I suddenly realized that this thing is a prison. Yeah. And then I went from the Audi to a Corsa. Yeah. A Corsa without air conditioning, and I paid for it cash. Yeah. And I felt relieved. I've got the car. It was practical. It was easy to run, and blah blah blah. And then a few years, I'm a bit bipolar with cars, but a few years later, I then bought a Murano, yeah, and the same thing kind of happened.
Hmm.
And then I went to the Datsun Go, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then I bought a Porsche, and I drove into the clinic with the Porsche, yeah, and then Pius came running up to me, yeah. So I knew when I bought this Porsche that it's a bad idea, it's a bad investment, it's just not a good thing, but it's a very nice car. Anyway, so I drive into the clinic, and then Pius comes running up to me and he goes, "Ah, David, I'm so pleased you bought the Porsche. Now I can tell everyone you're a success." So then I suddenly realized that he was thinking, as the leader of the organization, driving a Datsun Go was like, fuck, you should be driving a different car. Um, so, so for me, it's about, I've become a lot more philosophical about it, and I've now got, I've very few belongings, yeah,
Hmm.
and things that trap me, yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, using this example that I was relating to, I was thinking, yeah, why will people be scared of change in these organizations? Is it the idea that when change happens, the organization is going to fall apart, or otherwise they will embrace it? And the opposite of fear sometimes, I don't know what is the opposite of fear. What is the opposite of fear? It's comfort, right? They'll become comfortable with change because maybe they feel
What's
like,
important to you? Do you want to
pardon?
do you want to upgrade, do you want to upgrade to a Ford Mustang, or do you want to go down to a bicycle?
I want them both. Hmm.
You want a Ford Mustang with a mountain bike?
Yes, because I need the bicycle, for fitness, and I want the Mustang so that I can look good. But I think for
So,
me,
all right. So that's health, physical
yeah,
health, yeah,
mm,
and then status.
yes, yes. For me, I think people are just scared of change. They're scared that there's doubt, there's lack of trust. I mean, when I look at it, I look at the way that um,
So
most,
there's so then you're driving your Mustang around your area where you live, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and then you see all the poverty around you. How are you going to feel about that?
I think it's twofolded. There's a part of me that will not feel right because I'm surrounded by poverty.
Mm.
There's also a part of me that will say, okay, I need to take care of myself and also make sure that I also make myself happy, because it's my shadow that will make me say, this is not good. I mustn't do this. So I must be careful to see if it's from my shadow or yeah, how genuine it is. The idea behind feeling these other feelings, these negative feelings. But yeah, because I think it needs to be authentic. If it's authentic, I should be okay driving it here if I'm doing what I feel I should do in this community, you know, or in communities that I work with. Yes, yes. It's a bit tricky. I must be honest with you.
No, it's good. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's like, I just think it's a fucking waste of money. I think, me personally, my own kind of value system, that doesn't float my boat. You know? Having a fancy car and driving around poverty. In fact, I hate it. That really triggers my privilege, and I have guilt around that.
Yeah, it's tough, eh? It's tough. I must be honest with you. But I think then that example for me, when it comes to organizations and organizations that have culture, I said a particular culture. When it comes to black people, I think there's fear that things are gonna fall apart. You know, especially when leadership is held by blackness. You know, and
Sorry,
then people. Sorry.
Say that again. Especially black people, they
When
feel
leadership,
things are going to fall apart.
Yeah, when leadership is changing towards black people, right? You get that apprehension, you know, people, especially amongst white people, just to hold on, or amongst some white people. I mean, let me not generalize.
Well, what I heard you say was amongst black people. So
no, it's
I
not.
think when change happens, you do get that. You get it on both sides, you know.
Yes, you're right, actually. But
so I was coaching this black COO, yeah,
yeah,
and he was sitting on an aeroplane with his wife, yeah, and the pilot that came onto the plane was black. And then he turned to his wife and he said, "Oh my God, do you think we're safe?" Yeah.
I needed to show you my head. That's it, you know, and that's classic, you know.
So why are you laughing?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at the fact that the level of indoctrination that
Great.
that associate whiteness with quality,
or
with yes.
So to become a pilot, the aviation industry is so kind of strict and corrupt and regulated, and the bureaucracy around it, and the way that what you have to do, you're not going to get to jump through the hoops. It's like, oh, shame he's black, let's give him a pass. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, it's the same with women pilots. You know, like the anything in aviation, it might have been a very kind of white male created industry, but processes to jump through all those hoops. You're not going to become a pilot just because you're going to be given like, shame, you got to help black people, or shame, you got to help the women. You're going to become a pilot because you've met all the requirements.
Yeah. And look, David, for me, I'm looking at our past. I'm looking at our experience as a nation. You know, these professions. If someone will not have done mathematics very early in their lives and get good education and all that, the system itself will kick you out. Will kick the disadvantaged out, right? And that is racist. For me, it's racist. That's when everything got messed up. And now in that, you develop a culture or an ideology that only certain kind of people make good pilots, right? it goes back to that ad, that hair ad, or where we're indoctrinated to think that straightening hair is when the hair is straight, it means it's good because we've always seen that on television. But there are microsystems that were made earlier for us to come to that conclusion, you know, and that naturally the system pushed certain people away, and it's very sad. You see how endemic this problem is, you know. It's deep, and it irritates me so much. Look, I mean, I look at even our organization, MKP. I sit there alone and I'm like, you know.
What do you mean you sit alone?
I sit, I sit alone and think, you know.
Oh, okay.
Or about, uh, let's say your depth, like the level of depth amongst white people versus the depth amongst blacks, you know. And obviously, you guys are most white people are more exposed than black people because of the past, and that when you talk leadership, you can't talk leadership without support for black people. You understand? Uh, Especially if you want to keep the same quality standards that you've produced from the past. So now what happens is that you have a black brother that will be taken into a deep end. No support, no anything. This guy is gonna fail. He can fail because of lack of resources and him being not in a privileged position. Look at me now, David. Because of my privilege of working hard and everything that I have accumulated over time, I'm able to have these kind of meetings with you. But can you say the same uh, for half of the guys that are in our organization? No, you know, and so it's systematic that ultimately, and now then we'll get to an understanding that only white people can make good leaders. Only white males can be good pilots. Only white males can be good chartered accountants. You know, because the system, the foundation of the systems was made that way. You know, or you'll get one black guy that is an A student that will elevate to those standards. You know, and maybe make it as a pilot. So it's bad. It's bad. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to think if hmm.
Look, David, my mother didn't go to school. My mother, I think, finished. And if I come from my mother and my father, right? Clearly, there's nothing wrong with me, right? Or there's nothing wrong with them. But because of the level of exposure, because of racism, you would meet them and think that they are dumb. And I'm
Who
sure we
would?
are very well. There's a level of intelligence amongst people that my genes comprises of their genes. It is just exposure, you know. And if she were to become a leader and lead an organization like MKP, she could have been a failure. She will lead and she'll be called, she can't lead, but give me that, you'll see. You know? So I
Yeah,
think
look, yeah. I mean, your example's not great because I mean, to have your mum lead a men's organization.
No, man. You know what I'm saying? My
Right.
dad. Let's talk about my dad. I mean, even what you say. My dad. Let's say my dad. My dad. My mother probably would have done a good job anyway. But you know, but let's say my dad. You know. So I think it's those stereotypes, but it's not just stereotypical. It's what ingredients are put in a developmental process of a group for them to elevate to be trusted, because it happens over time. Yes.
Bongile, listen, I'm sorry, man. I've only got 2 minutes left.
Yes, sir.
Has this been helpful for you? You
Yes,
personally?
it has been. But I think it's a conversation that must that must continue. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a conversation that must continue. I think we need to give it time. Have like a day in a week. Have a day just of racism.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing with Helena from next week. Learning
Yes.
to have dialogue circles.
Yes.
Yeah, and that also brings gender into the circle.
Yes. Yes.
And as far as MKP is going, we're doing that online iGroup facilitation training, and we're doing the gender inclusive one too. We're opening it up to everyone. So there's a training that's happening there. So as an organization, we're certainly looking at ways to support individuals and communities in getting the skills and tools. Yeah. Yeah. But just to go back to I don't sell myself out anymore. I try
Sorry?
not. I don't sell myself out anymore. I used to.
Please
Yeah.
don't.
No, I don't. But I certainly relate to the position that you find yourself in, and I'm sorry about that. But fuck, my experience is if you sell yourself short in the beginning, it's not sustainable anyway.
Yeah.
I would find a resource somewhere else so you don't have to kind of sell your soul to achieve your mission.
It's crazy, eh?
Mm.
It's actually deep what you just said now, because I think it happened to some of the senior leaders. But then I'm checking out. You asked me how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. There's joy. There's gratitude. And I think this conversation must continue. We must have proper dialogues about racism in South Africa, from different people to their experiences. And dialogue won't be necessarily about debating. Dialogue is dialogue. It's people sharing their views. So I'm looking forward to those interactions. Yeah. With that, I'm out.
Much love, Bongile.
Yeah.
And yeah.
How
See you
you
soon.
feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling like fuck. I wake up in the morning and I try my best to make the world a better place. I fumble along. You've given me motivation.
Glad. All the best, brother.
Bye.
Bye.